Hey y'all, I'm Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. In today's video, I have 4 side dish recipes to share with y'all. I think these side dishes would be perfect for your just everyday dinners, but also since we're coming into holiday season, I think all 4 of these would work really well as maybe a new Thanksgiving side dish recipe. So with that being said, if you're here for some side dish inspo, let's get into the video. And first up, we have honey balsamic Brussels sprouts. So to a large skillet, I'm just gonna heat up a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And next I have about a pound of Brussels sprouts that I cleaned and halved. And now we're just gonna add these cut side down to our skillet. We want the inside to get nice and kind of browned and a little bit caramelized. I know this part seems a little bit tedious, but you really want the inside to be the part that gets all crisp and yummy. All right, now that I have all my Brussels sprouts in here, I'm just gonna let that sit there and not touch it for 3 or 4 minutes. All right, as you can see, they're starting to brown. I'll bring y'all closer. All right, so at this point, I like to kind of flip them around a little bit, and I'm gonna let them brown just a couple more minutes on this side. We like ours to kind of be really crispy. We're gonna add a half a cup of water, and then we're gonna put the lid on and let these steam until they get tender, about 3 minutes. All right, my Brussels sprouts are nice and tender. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove these from my pan. So next we're gonna make a glaze. I have a little bit of water in my pan. I'm actually gonna dump this out because the glaze, you don't really need any water added to it. So if you have any extra water, just dump it out. All right, so to our skillet, we're gonna add about a half a cup of balsamic vinegar, a little bit less just because the recipe I'm going by, the reviews said, a lot of them said to use less, so that's what I'm gonna do. The reviews are always helpful, so anytime y'all ever try one of my recipes, feel free to leave a comment or a review in the comments, obviously if you comment it, because that just helps everybody out, you know? Next, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey. You can just eyeball it. We're gonna add 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 2 cloves of minced garlic. Now I'm just gonna whisk this around a little bit. All right, I'm gonna turn my heat up. I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer, and I'm gonna let this thicken until it has like a syrup consistency, or a glaze, because we're making a glaze. All right, can y'all see this consistency, how it's kind of thick and syrupy? That's what we want, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back down. I'm gonna bring over my Brussels sprouts. Toss those in the sauce. While those are cooking just a couple more minutes, I'm gonna hit it with some salt and some pepper. And that is pretty much it. Could not be easier. And there you go, honey balsamic Brussels sprouts. Super easy and super yummy. Next up, we have roasted walnut and cranberry orzo. Stick with me on this one, y'all. All right, so to my large skillet, I'm adding a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And next to that, I have 1 red pepper chopped and 1 small onion chopped. And we're just gonna saute this until they get tender. And this dish is one I have not tried, but these ingredients just sounded too interesting to not try. And plus it's really colorful. I thought the colors are perfect for the holidays. All right, so my peppers and onions are nice and tender. So I just added 1/2 cup of chicken broth. You could also use vegetable broth. Now here's where the unique ingredients start to come into play. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. We're also gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Already smells really good, and don't that just look like the holidays? All right, that's gonna simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, that mixture has been cooking. And over on the side, I have just cooked 1 1/4 cup of orzo. That was pretty self-explanatory, so I didn't show that part. And now we're just gonna bring it over to this mixture. I'm just gonna kind of toss it around a little bit, get all those flavors mixed together. I'm actually gonna taste this since I've never made it before. We're gonna add a couple other things, but I wanna see if I think it needs anything else. Trying to get a little piece of everything in there. That is interesting, we'll say that. All right, so now I'm just gonna get this transferred over to a bowl. All right, now we're actually gonna top with half a cup of roasted walnuts. Are y'all staying with me? We're gonna try this and we're gonna let the fam try it. And we're gonna give you an honest review, don't you worry. An honest review. Eat the walnuts that fell out. And then, if it could not get any more unique, we shall say, you add 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan to the top as well. All right, I'm gonna pop this into the oven to keep it warm, but there you go. We'll let y'all know how it turns out. All right, y'all, here's our honest review. So Darren and I liked it. We didn't love it. I'm not sure I will make it again. All those flavors in there tasted really good. It's just an odd combo. So I would say if you like all of these ingredients, if you like red peppers, cranberries, walnuts, give it a try, see what you think. They're all relatively inexpensive ingredients. Our kids did not care for it. So that's our honest review. I thought I would include it in here. I thought about not including this recipe, but there's always sometimes when you try a new recipe and you don't love it. You can't always love every single thing you always try. So there's our review. But stay tuned because I think we saved my 2 favorite recipes for last. And next up is a family favorite, herb roasted potatoes. So this is an oldie but a goodie. I make this all the time, and this is something super easy and I know my kids love. So I have about maybe a little less than 2 pounds of baby potatoes quartered. We really love the baby yellow potatoes. I'm just gonna add a little drizzle of olive oil and a tablespoon of minced garlic. I'm adding about a tablespoon of freshly chopped rosemary, about a half a tablespoon of fresh thyme. We're also gonna add some parsley. My store did not actually have any fresh parsley, so sometimes I do like to use this lightly dried parsley, especially in recipes, especially when you're roasting. It works really well, and you don't even have to chop it. Add a little of that, add a little salt, and a little pepper. I'm just gonna give this a toss. All right, I'm gonna get these on a baking sheet, and these are gonna go in the oven at 425 for about 35 to 40 minutes until they are tender. All right, y'all, here are those roasted potatoes when they come out of the oven. I do stir mine or kind of flip them around in between, but look how golden and delicious they look. We like to top ours with some sour cream, but of course, you don't even need anything. These are literally a perfect side dish to any meal. Up next is cheesy bacon asparagus. I should have called this video starting with the skillet. All right, so I got my skillet, and next I have 6 slices of bacon that I just slice into about 1 inch long pieces. And we're just gonna fry these up. All right, so my bacon got done. I went ahead and put that on a plate, and I drained most of the grease except for about 1/4 of a cup. So now I'm just gonna add about 2 cloves of garlic. We're gonna let that cook just for a minute. And now I'm gonna stir in 1/4 cup of flour. We're gonna let this kind of brown up just for a minute. Now we're gonna add 1.5 cups of milk. I'm just using 2%. We're also gonna add 1/2 cup of heavy cream. We're also gonna turn our stove back on so we can cook. All right, so I'm just gonna bring this up to a simmer and let it simmer about 5 minutes until it starts to thicken up. All right, so my sauce is starting to thicken up a little bit. So I have some freshly shredded Gruyere cheese. I have about a cup. We're gonna add about 1/2 cup into the sauce. And I also shredded up some just regular white sharp cheddar cheese. Again, I shredded a cup. We're gonna add 1/2 cup in now. We're just gonna stir this around and let this cheese melt. I mean, I could just eat this as a soup right here. Like, we ain't even gotta go no further. All right, next I'm gonna add our bacon back into the pan. I'm gonna add just a little salt and pepper. A little stir. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. All right, so now I just have my 9 by 13, and I'm gonna add a whole bunch of asparagus to my dish. I went ahead and washed these and trimmed the ends. And now we're just gonna top the asparagus with that sauce we just made. All right, now we're gonna top with those remaining cheeses. Now, if that ain't bougie enough for you, let's add some Ritz crackers. We're just gonna crush these up a little bit. In the picture, they didn't have them crushed up too much. You want about a cup of these, and you're gonna sprinkle them on top. All right, so I only did 1 pack. I'm gonna cover this with foil, and this is gonna go into the oven for about 20 minutes.
It's foil.
Foil, aluminum foil, aluminium.
Aluminium.
If there's anybody in England that says aluminium, I love it.
That's in Australia.
I think it's in England too. I love
European. Anybody European and Australia.
Y'all say aluminium, we say tin foil. All right, my friends, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know, do any of these side dishes kind of end up in your rotation? I know a couple of them definitely do for us, but a couple are new. So let me know what you think. I hope you're all doing amazing, and I'll see y'all real soon in the next video. Bye, y'all.